Hello, welcome back to LK Tuition. My name's Lucas and today we're going to be looking at reciprocal graphs. Hope you're well and let's get cracking. Alright then, so what is a reciprocal graph? Well, the ones we're going to be bothered about is in a graph which looks like y equals a over x, where a can be any number. So 1 over x, 2 over x, minus 3 over x, anything like that. You can get reciprocal graphs where it's something over x squared or something over x cubed, anything like that. But today we're just going to be worried about something over x. So, and this is what they look like. So if it's positive, it'll look like the blue graph on the left, and if it's negative, it'll look like the green graph on the right. So we'll notice a few things about them, but we'll look at them in a bit more detail in the next slide. Okay, so let's have a look at what happens when x goes to 0, positive infinity and negative infinity. So if we look at this first graph here on the left, let's look at plus infinity. Now it's 1 over x. So the bigger that x gets, you're dividing by a bigger number. So it's almost like dividing your pizza into more and more slices. It's going to get smaller and smaller. So as x goes to infinity, this is going to go to 0. Slowly go to 0. And then the other side as well, as it goes to minus infinity, it's going to go to 0 the other way as well. So this is going up towards 0. It'll get closer and closer, never quite reaching it, but it'll go closer to 0 that way. And here it's going down closer to 0 that way. Then what happens when x goes to 0? So this is the ones we've just done are when x goes to plus infinity and minus infinity. But when it goes to 0, well, then you're dividing by a really small number. You know, only if you divide by a small number, your answer is going to be very big because you're dividing it into tiny little pieces. How many pieces will you get? Well, the smaller the pieces, the more of them there'll be. So when it goes to 0 from the right, it goes to plus infinity. So this is going up to plus infinity. Again, never quite reaching it, but kind of heading that way. And negatively, it goes down to minus infinity, going to 0 from the other side. Okay, so that is what's happening on that one. And similarly with this, so with the y equals minus 3 over x, it's the other way around because it's a negative number over the x, but still as it goes to minus infinity, it's getting closer to 0 that way, and as it goes to plus infinity, it's going closer to 0 that way. And similarly, as x goes to 0, from the left it's going to plus infinity, and from the right it's going to minus infinity because we're dividing by a really small number. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So these are our two shapes, and let's just go to the next slide. And then another thing to notice is that all reciprocal graphs are symmetrical on two separate lines. So they're symmetrical on the line y equals x, so that is this line here. So if I draw it like that, okay, so let's just draw it thick like that. So that's y equals x, and similarly on this one, y equals x. Yeah, so see, that works as a mirror for both graphs. And then if we go the other way, let me grab a different colour, y equals minus x, that's going down this way. Y equals minus x, and same with this, y equals minus x. It's also symmetrical on those purple lines as well. Okay, so just giving you a bit of a feel of these reciprocal graphs. Okay, so let's do an example. Feel free to pause the video and have a go yourself, otherwise we shall do them together. Okay, so this first one, we want to complete the table of values for y equals 4 over x. Okay, well the first one then, we've got 0.5, so 4 divided by half, how many halves go into 4? Well, it is 8. 8 halves go into 4. 4 divided by 1 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 8 is a half, and 4 divided by 10 is 0.4. Okay, so on the grid, we want to draw the graph of 4 over x for values of x from 0.25 to 10. So let's just plot these points then. So we've got 0.5 and 8. So that is that point there. Let's just thicken that cross up a bit. Then we've got 1 and 4, so that is there. Let's make that a bit thicker. Then we've got 2 and 2. So notice this is starting to follow the pattern. It's going steeper and then it'll get slowly less steep as we go. Then we've got 4 and 1. So we've got that point there. Then we've got 8. So my head's in the way, but we've got 8 and 0.5. So that'll be kind of like down here. Yeah, my head's in the way of that, and then it'll just follow that. So we want it from 0.25, so just before 0, but it'll kind of follow this round. It's a nice curve. Imagine I did a better version than that. Can we make that better? Maybe a little bit. So that's kind of your graph. But only draw one line, but that's me just giving you an idea of what it looks like. Okay, all right, next one. So now we want to sketch the graph of y equals -2 over x for values of x between -6 and 6. Okay, so this time let's draw a little table of values. So we've got x and we want to figure out what y is. Well, we want to go from -6 to 6. So why not go up in twos? So we'll have -4, -2, 0, 2, 4, and then 6. Okay, so then let's fill in our values. So -2 over -6 is a third. -2 over -4 is a half. -2 over -2 is 1. 0 over, -2 divided by 0. Now that's going to be the one that goes to infinity. So anything divided by 0, you can't really, it's not really defined, but we'll kind of have infinity in our minds. -2 divided by 2 is -1. -2 divided by 4 is -half. And -2 divided by 6 is -a third. So let's just plot these points then. So we've got, what have we got? -6 and a third. So that's going to be, well, if that's 1, maybe there somewhere. So we've got -6 and a third, let's say there. Then we've got -4 and a half, which would be about there. Then we've got -2 and 1. And let's just, we know that's going up to infinity, but let's just put in a little extra one here. If we, instead of 0 here, let's just split this up again. And let's have -1 and 1. We know that 0 is going to go to infinity, but let's just pop in these 2 extra points. So -1, so -2 over -1 is 2. So that is going to be there. So that gives you a bit more of the idea that this graph is going up like that towards infinity. Let me try that one again, just because it wasn't quite going towards infinity. Maybe a bit like that. That wasn't too good, but we'll take it. And then what else have we got? We've got 1. So then you've got -2 over 1 is -2. So you've got that point there. Then you've got 2 and -1, 4 and -half, and 6 and -a third. So again, this one's going to go kind of up like that. Okay, so my curves aren't great, but we're doing this on a tablet, so hopefully that's all right. Okay, so hopefully we're getting a little feel for what these things are starting to look like. So with the positive one, let's just quickly draw over this. So a positive reciprocal will look like that, and a negative reciprocal will look like the orange ones that I've just done. Okay, hope you found that useful. This has been LK Tuition. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for some more maths videos.